If you've just joined us from the Massonomic podcast, welcome. This is the Unpaid and Underrated podcast. This is the Nothing podcast about a lifting podcast about nothing. We are the unpaid interns and members of the Massonomics Discord crew, and this is our brand new podcast where we will talk Massonomics, lifting, and interview fellow crew weekly. Joey, I heard you had a pretty cool experience with a hat today. Want to tell me about that?
Yeah, even though we're not supposed to buy the hats, today's the pilot episode. So first I want to get into the idea of who we are, because I'm Joey, obviously you're Keith. We have Big IT, or we'll call him Nate for a little bit, Big Nate. He's here kind of just checking up on us on our first episode. But I did have a couple things I want to go over. Thanks for throwing that to me. First things, what are you drinking?
I have a Schweppes orange sparkling water. Of course, it's orange because it's not only the best color, it's the best flavor, in my opinion.
Now, I also brought myself an orange. I have an orange cream soda from PC up here in Canada, up down south, up northern, southern Canada. This thing actually tastes like creamsicles. Let me see that.
Is that the pink one too? You were saying?
No, that's cream soda. So cream soda's pink up
okay.
here. Yeah, that was one of the first things I ever messaged to the guys, because I was listening to them. I think Big Alex sent them some cream soda, and they were going, the pink can's really throwing me off. And I messaged them like, do you not know that cream soda's pink up here? And I think I blew their mind. But I don't know why we do that up here. I think our shotgun shells are full of cotton too. I don't know anymore. That's the good stuff. So we always talk about being recognized in our Massonomics gear out in the world. And up here in Canada, like, it's got to be rare. But today, my friend of mine, Jay, was at some bar I've never been to in the city. I live outside of the city, but I'll come in my way past because I haven't seen him in like months. And I'm sitting there and I've got my sweater from the Arnold. And then just as I'm getting ready to leave, I put on my hat. And I noticed earlier that the chef had a long beard. I'd even commented, like, that guy has a longer beard than me. And he comes by, he goes, "Oh, hey, Massonomics hat. Don't see those very often." And I'm like, what? Like, get over here and talk to me. His name is Big Mitch. Instagram is Sauce in My Beard. And he was saying, like, he used to lift. He asked me where I lived. He did. You guys would get a kick out of this. He told me the big famous guy that he used to lift with here in Hamilton. And I was like, I don't even remember the guy's name. He's like, "You ever heard of that guy?" And I'm like, no, I'm not going to know any of these people. But
it's probably the most famous. It's likely the most famous Canadian lifter of all times, and Joey just doesn't know it. And
nope.
if Joey would remember, then I could probably poorly explain to him who he is, but we'll have to wait for next week's episode to get that one probably.
Yeah, not a clue. I can actually message Big Mitch and I'll ask him again, but nope, not a clue. But yeah, he recognized the hat. He says he's been listening a while. He used to chat with Tanner and Tommy. Lifted himself for a while, but that was cool to actually get recognized. And I even said to him, like, are you caught up on the podcast? He says, yeah, I listen. I don't listen like in sequence, but I'll like dump every once in a while I'm doing paperwork. I was like, "Oh, I have the thigh tattoo." And he gave me a blank look. And I'm like that's kind of been made fun of a lot. Like, I think, but that's all right. That's all right.
Yeah, that's like holy grail territory for you should be able to be recognized for that. There's not a whole lot of other crew that have that much distinguishing marks. Well, in this case, a literal distinguishing mark.
I permanently scarred my body.
That should be recognized.
I have a permanent scar on my body for Massonomics Discord crew. It's like just asking to be, oh yeah, that. Like, that's all I would have wanted. But yeah, that was my like the day we record this podcast, that happens after, listening to the Massonomics for like 6 months.
So I assume that if he actually had known who you are from that, you probably would have went on to say, "Hey, I'm assuming you've been following, the up and coming Unpaid and Underrated
bring it up.
podcast."
I did,
but since he had no clue who you were to begin with, I would have played that one by ear. And if he had been like, "Oh yeah, Big Joey," and then that would have actually been significantly cooler. But that sucker just isn't as niche as we are.
No, and I said, we're recording a podcast just for the crew. Are you in the crew? He goes, no, I'm not a supporting member. I'm like, well, if you ever want to get in, like, all you do is go to the website. But
it's so worth it.
Yeah, I did bring it up and the pod and what we're doing right now. And he's no, he's.
I think I did contribute to a newly found crew member joining the Discord recently. I want to say it was Big Hogan, who I met at the home gym con. Guy was talking to him in DMs, and he was just talking about trying to get more involved in different things. And I was just like, hey, I recommended this, and then like within a day or two, there he was in the being welcomed as a new intern by Tanner.
Yeah,
so that was pretty cool.
I remember I did the same with Steve because he came to the Arnold and
Yeah, your buddy.
he's
Yeah.
having all this fun with us, and I was like, see what you're missing out on. And yeah, I remember that. Posted a picture of my brothers going, see this man? He's thinking of joining. Did it.
That's
Took
awesome.
more of my
Well,
friends'
so
money from Massonomics.
Well, we don't need it. They do, right? Got to save up for those billboards.
Rich get richer.
Yep.
Now, speaking of the rich get richer, we have a sponsor for our like nascent first ever podcast.
Yeah, Tanner texted us over. He was very eager to get it on. He said it might be just a rough draft, and next week's episode might have a different one, but this is the one he wanted me to read first. So here goes nothing. This is brought to you by the Massonomics podcast. Hark ye, goodly folk of listeners' ear, I bring you news of wondrous cheer, of feats of strength and power rare that make one's heart pound strong and fair. The Massonomics doth call out their challenge to those stout and stout, to lift the weights and ring the bell and prove their metal true and well. Their merchandise so fine and grand, a testament of strength's command. T-shirts, hats, and mugs you'll find, a great way to show strength's kind. Thus to all ye in search of might, to make your muscles grow and fight, look no farther than the Massonomics store, where strength and glory is evermore.
You don't learn English like that unless you go to Canada's best university, Big Tanner?
Yep, that he's a proud graduate.
Now, do we want to get like right into what we're gonna do, or do we want to kind of just spitball? Or Nate, do you want to jump in and start doing the thing? Like, how do you feel this should go?
Yeah, what's up, guys?
Hey, welcome, Mr. IT guy.
What's up? I prefer my official term, according to Massonomics lore and YouTube video stardom, would be technical guy.
That's right. And that's technically a guy. I forgot.
I'm not sure if that was
you up to say that
about my my technical expertise or the questionability of my clothing. I have no idea what that's supposed to mean, but that was the title I was given, so I'll take that and hold on to it. So yeah, I'll hop on. What I want to do is I want to let the viewers get to know you guys, or the listeners. I don't think we'll have any viewers on our audio podcast. But I want to get the listeners some information about you guys, ask some questions. But before we do that, I figure everyone wants to know about myself. Big Scants in the chat for our live podcast.
It's a very active chat tonight.
Very active chat tonight. Titles me the chief unpaid intern. I thank you for that. For that title. Thank you.
Is that one above Mole? Is that like
that's a good? We should power rank crew titles.
The one with the tattoo, the chief. Yeah. All the way up.
Wouldn't it be Big Chief? But then you'd be fighting the guy from Street Outlaws. But yes. I mean, we're all big here as well as.
Yes. When you're here, you're big, just like Olive Garden. Sponsor us, Olive Garden.
Brought to you by unlimited breadsticks and refillable salads.
For sure. Yeah, so real quick, because everyone wants to know everything about me. Name's Big Nate. You might know me as the winner of the Lift Hard, Live Easy contest. I won that a long time ago. I am known around these parts as the technical guy. If you're a supporting member, which we didn't plug it earlier, but massonomics.com/join. Sign up to be a supporting member. It's the most fun you'll ever have in your life.
It's a very active Discord.
Active Discord.
Very active.
And listen, if you're a supporting member, say you're listening to this podcast, you're like, this sounds like a great time. I want to get on that podcast. Become a supporting member. Maybe you get on that podcast. We ask you some questions. We let you talk about seltzer. Sounds like a great time. We would highly recommend it to you guys. So hop on as a supporting member. I'm a supporting member. One of the things I do as a supporting member is I make a ton of bots that exist in our private Discord.
I fucking hate those bots.
That give so much great information and content to everyone online. So
exclamation point days.
Can we swear on this thing? I fucking hate those bots.
Yeah.
I think we can swear.
Like you say hat plate and you get bombarded with 30 bots. And then for me, it's just blocked message, blocked message, blocked message, blocked message.
I do like the days ones though, because that's easier to come to the chat for the meet in July that everyone should be signed up for.
Code.
Because it sold out 4 months ago. So hopefully anyone listening to this at least tried to sign up for it. We can just go right into the page for that and hit days rather than having to go to Google and figure it out.
Yeah, it is. There's some handy bots. Most of mine are pretty hostile, but I got some good stuff in there occasionally. Got some good stuff in there.
Hostile AI, and we're really selling this disc.
Yeah, we're running some hostile AI. It's basically Skynet up in the Massonomics Discord, so be careful. Be careful.
There's probably a lot of hostile AI movies that Tommy has not seen.
That's very true. That's very true. He probably hasn't seen any of them, quite honestly. No. Do we know if he's seen Terminator? Can anyone check the spreadsheet? I know we've got one of those for that.
But get Scance on it. He's really good with the technology.
Yeah, Scance, hit us up in the chat if you can find out if Tommy's seen Terminator. All right. Well, hey, let me jump into some questions for you guys.
Shoot. You want to round robin? Do you want to call names? Do you want to just are you going to ask Keith and then me, or should we just answer one at a time?
You guys answer. Also, you guys can have your druthers. I'll answer the question in the first one. I like
a druthers. I like a good druthers.
Yeah, I'll ask a question. First one to answer. Maybe I'll mail you a piece of candy. So you guys started this podcast, did not tell us at all about yourselves. So I want to hear from both of you. Give me just a little rundown on who you are, what you do, anything exciting about you that you want to share. If you don't want to share anything, that's fine too, but give us a peek behind the audio curtain. What do you look like even? We don't know what you look like. It's just audio. Give us a nice description, what you're wearing tonight, maybe, for the listeners to get that nice, beautiful word picture.
This is just taking me back to 1997 where people are asking each other their,
ASL
age, sex, location in the chat here. Getting very, you kind of want to get very descriptive with that. So I'll kick off here. My name's Keith Honeycutt. I'm pretty much, been a big fan of Massonomics for a few years now. If you're listening to this chat, you probably already know me and follow me on Instagram. And you're familiar with my gym, the No Wine Cellar, where I was with all the orange equipment. So that's kind of my main hobby outside of Massonomic stuff is just, home gym equipment and, having that really nice space. I need specific questions. I suck at this. I'll let Joey go and then I'll shoot back in and build off of that because we're just getting our feet wet here.
Sure. I'm Joey Malesko. You find me at Joey_MLE and I'll just come up because there's like none of me out in the world. I look generally like the type of guy you probably don't like at your gym. I have a long beard, I'm bald, and I'm a little fat. But I sometimes feel strong. So we're here talking about lifting sometimes. I am from down up north Canada. So I am south of Aberdeen, which is really funny, but always up north because it's Canada. I don't have any cardinal directions because I'm just like smack in the middle of the country in between a bunch of lakes. I've also been listening to Massonomics probably for about 100 and something episodes. Came in because of Big Jonathan Oldham. He posted a video and he had a poster, which is now contraband poster. And I messaged him and I was like, that is the best. Can I get one of those? And I've been here ever since. That's what brought me into the Massonomics was that band poster. Yeah, buddy.
Nice. Yeah, that reminds me. So yeah, I want to say, so during the pandemic, I was painting the house because I was laid off for a while, and I was running out of my normal go-to podcast, and I want to say that the guy that made the documentary on West Side, he was on the podcast, and I was following him, and he was like, "Oh, I know this guy. Let me listen to this podcast," and just kind of got hooked from there on. Started listening to him live, basically. So it was like March or April 2020. I was listening to him live. And while I was also went back and started from like episode 1. So I was like simultaneously listening to the new weekly ones while trying to bang out 1 or 2 episodes a day if I had the free time of the old ones. Finally got all caught up maybe like last year or so. And then just recently actually started a complete re-listen. So it's just kind of a weird perspective listening to all the original episodes, like several years removed, just how completely different it is. But yeah, I've just really been a big fan of just their content in general, but then also the community that we have built. I mean, that they've allowed us to build the Discord. Basically, before the Discord, I was probably Instagram friends with like 15 or 20 guys via Massonomics by just seeing stuff that they got reshared. Something that Tanner would share of them, and then you'd go follow their page, and then once you start having 2 or 3 mutual friends, and they just started getting suggested to each other. So, I did that for a while, and then the Discord kicked off, and I was probably a little late adapter of that. It was hard for me to justify the cost. But then I was like, man, I'm missing out on so much stuff because like I don't get half of these jokes that they're saying in their stories, or like some of the references on the podcast. So once I finally got in the Discord and pulled that trigger, I was like, just immediately within like the first couple of days, I was like, damn it, I should have done this 6 months ago when they finally kicked when they initially released it. So if anyone's still on the fence about joining, it's I highly recommend it. It's a very welcoming community, and there's there's not very many assholes in the group, basically.
And if there is, like, that's fine.
We let them host the podcast.
Yeah, and we tend to keep them in check. I
didn't say there was zero.
What I kind of always enjoyed, and I talk about this a lot, is I think it was the interview with Jen Thompson. Okay. And they gave her overrated, underrated. And she had said, like, that's it. I thought this was going to be like my take on something political. And the way Tanner went, what? No. As if he was like almost disgusted with the concept. That is when I got hooked. Because social media for me has always been a little negative. And then suddenly, like, wait a minute, there's a weightlifting world where we don't have to like go to war with the bar, which I guess is another one of
that's literally your favorite.
I was gonna say that's kind of my other claim to fame is mocking the war with the bar folks.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Yeah, and just like, wait, I don't have to like listen to that all the time. We can have a silly time. And I've kind of been here ever since, and probably not going anywhere. I think my credit card expires at the end of this year, and we'll see me get kicked out of the Discord. maybe I come back and maybe I don't.
So I have some experience with that. I'm a man that loses his wallet every year at least once, and then my wife like instantly cancels like 6 credit cards, and then so I've had to, I think at least twice in like the 2 or 3 years I've had to re-enter a new credit card number. But they won't kick you out. It's just kind of like it's a dick move to have your card expire and not leave the Discord, but it's just a matter of just re-signing up your card.
Now I'll kick you out. I'll do it.
I would.
I'll make sure it
out
happens.
Of our Discord, like
yes. Anything I have power over keeps out. I'll just do it now.
Yeah.
All right. Solid answers. I got some more questions if you're all ready.
I'll try to do better this time.
Lifting hard, living easy. All right. I want to know y'all's favorite lift. What is it gonna be?
You guys both follow me on Instagram. You know exactly that I live to deadlift. It is. It was like.
Would you say that you would deadlift till you're dead?
I do love those. I do love her. Yeah, honestly, and it was like I first got into the gym because a friend of mine asked me to do a what do you call it? An obstacle course, like some mud hero course. And we were looking around at a gym, and there was a boutique gym down the road that had like free classes when you sign up. So my wife and I joined that one. And I just got to be honest with you, I hated it. I hated the suicide bike. I hated the treadmill. Like I hated all of the things this guy wanted me to do. And then I had a friend who, Big Steve, actually, who back in the day was a power lifter. And I said, man, I think I want to learn how to deadlift. Can you show me? And like, if you could see the animation from that day, like the first time I deadlifted, like my pupils dilated, and I was just like, this is life. Deadlift is life. And it's always been and will continue to be the day I can't deadlift is probably the day that something else just happens where I'm just like, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. Because even this week where I'm not feeling good, only being able to deadlift 315 pounds made me sad. Like it sucked. Like I kind of ruined my day, but being sick, like I do what I can do. And it was always funny because that was where I was going to stop, I'll hit 3 plates and like I weigh this much. Hitting 3 plates is almost double my body weight. I can stop there.
Yeah, that's not a deadlift to mock at. And you're a smaller gentleman,
Yeah.
so that's every bit of double your body weight. I'm currently so heavy that I can't double my body weights, deadlift anymore.
Yeah.
Because I used to be able to, but not currently.
But then I was like, I'll stop at 315. 3 plates is a lot. And then as soon as I hit 3 plates, I was like, yeah, I think I could do more. And,
There you
and
go.
here we are. How about you, Keith?
So currently deadlift's probably my least favorite, just because I'm always ends up hurting myself doing some deadlift variation. Oh man, that's a tough one between squat and bench. Like squat, I'll probably go with squat because it is my favorite. I think bench, I'm having the most progress on bench right now.
Me too.
And I'm like getting the most, like I'm mentally rewarded with bench more right now just because
Yep.
I'm hitting like small rep PRs
Same.
here and there.
Yep.
But like squat to me is so if the question is if you can only do one lift the rest of your life, I'm squatting. Like I used to say deadlift, but now it's 100% I would do squat variations indefinitely.
If you had asked me a long time ago, I'd agree with you. But then when I hurt myself, now I'm like afraid of squats. So
Okay.
at my next meet, I'm only doing push pull because I'm so
Gotcha.
afraid I'm going to hurt myself that I was just like, I don't even want to attempt to build my squat right now.
I think squats for me are always my least favorite in the moment, but afterwards I always feel awesome after I squat. Like I'm squatting today, this is awesome, and then like, oh, let's do 5 reps, and it's like this is the worst thing I've ever experienced in my life. And then you're done, you're like, I feel awesome. Like it's just like this progression that it's like, I can't wait. Wait, why did I do this? And then you're like, oh no, that was great. Question about squats for you two. I was listening to a radio talk show because there aren't any other podcasts. There's
No.
only there's 2 podcasts.
Just ours. Oh, okay. So we are going to talk about the other one.
I mean,
Mainly ours.
Their sponsor. I feel like we should give them at least a little nod. So there's only 2 real podcasts. But so I was listening to a radio talk show, and they said that post squat is when they're most horny. I want your guys' take on that. Is that true or false?
I'm horny 24/7, dude.
Okay, well, there you have that. No increase from squats.
Yeah, I mean that's usually a Saturday activity, not a Sunday activity.
Okay.
And I squat every Sunday, so
not for me at all. I've never hate myself more than after a squat because, yeah, I mentioned like I can do an easy 405, 450 deadlift, and then I can't squat more than 350. So there is never a time where I hate myself more than after doing a shitty squat. So maybe that turns some people on, but I don't think that's it for me.
I get some other people going.
Yeah.
It's not me.
No,
I would say not in a sexual manner, but like just in general, I'm never feel more. Shut up. I'm never. I'm happier if it, squatting a PR to me means more than deadlifting or benching a PR, hands down. So in turns, if that makes you happy and if happy makes you horny, then yes, I can agree with that to some extent. That I do feel that squatting is the most challenging. I don't know. It's just the scariest one, man. I much rather, drop a barbell because I can't pick it up off the floor than literally get crushed by 500-pound squat.
Yeah.
I'm always horniest after bench press.
What?
Because that's when
that's
when I get
because of all the liftoffs.
Well, no, just because that's when my wife finds me most attractive.
Okay,
that's when I come up and I go, "Hey, honey, how's this pump today?"
Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah. There's some sense to that.
And then it's like, get the kids to bed.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah, I didn't have that on the prep sheet. I pulled that one out. What lift makes you the horniest? We'll see if that one makes it into the main podcast.
Pulling out always helps.
Yes. Of the meat, or
well, as someone who doesn't want to have kids,
don't call her that.
Would make me horny. Basically, I don't know. It's a very roundabout joke. You'll come to find out that my so the side tangent here. I think I'm a lot funnier than some people might think I am, and my wife, one of my friends, I think actually, yeah, well, I honestly can't remember now if it was my wife or my good buddy. I think it was my wife. I always say that I make a lot of puns. And then someone was like, "No, it's more like pun adjacent." So
Pun adjacent.
because they're so obscure that I think they're freaking hysterical, but then people that aren't necessarily in the know or like don't get it at first, and it's like, God damn it, it's really funny. You just have to add like 2 and 3 and 7 to get there, but it's a little complicated, but it's funny when you piece it all together.
Hey, jokes are a
So
lot better when you explain them in bullet points, if you ask me.
yeah,
Here's my spreadsheet on why you fuckers should have laughed at that.
Yeah.
oh, I love that's me to a T because I fucking have to explain my jokes and I love spreadsheets.
Keith just has a Google Docs folder full of spreadsheets to explain his jokes.
Like, this is funny because X, Y, and Z, fucker.
Yes. Somebody doesn't laugh and he just starts fidgeting with his phone. Here, let me prove to you why this is funny. Tag on it. All right. I know where you guys stand on this, but I'll ask it for the listeners. Favorite type of garage, basement, house, commercial, a private CrossFit box, a garage gym. What are we doing?
Basement.
Oh man, to me it's plain and dead. I'm a basement gym lifter. I always will be. I see many benefits in a basement over a garage. I just no thank you to a garage gym for me.
I really don't care, and I've made that kind of clear in the Discord. I lift currently in my basement because that is where I can lift. I've already said I went from the boutique gym to a commercial gym. I actually had 2 gym memberships for a little while where I would go to one because they had a real deadlift platform, and it was only $10 a month. So I would only go there to deadlift, and then I'd go to the boutique gym for everything else. And then once I told the story 3 or 4 times today, I went to that gym, and the only open bar and squat rack, there was a kid doing shrugs in it with the barbell. He raced me there to take the spot on my deadlift day. And that's it. And I built a deadlift platform, very makeshift. It was honestly 3 pieces of plywood in my driveway. So I deadlifted in my driveway. But then when winter hit, I was still deadlifting in the driveway with a tarp over my barbell.
Oh wow, that's dedication there, bro.
Yeah, and that's when it was should probably just move it in, and then we cleared up some space. But if I had a garage with a floor that could handle it, a heater, I would probably go out there because I think during the summer I would like to lift outside again. I do miss lifting outside. But
I lift
where I live.
I think if you start lifting outside again, you should try to do some discovery deadlift.
I was just thinking that. I was about to say that
style videos, but it's just you going upstairs and outside.
I might just go to Utah and party with him. Just go do some deadlifts out in the woods.
It'd be worth it to go to Utah. Shoot.
And he's a good dude, so I don't think I would hate that at all. But yeah.
Did you guys see Utah in the news in the last couple of days? Did you see the?
No, I don't use that website.
What the news was on that? What's that?
No, I don't use that website.
Fill us in, Keith. Explain the news to us.
Well, I mean, I think everyone knows what I'm going to talk about. So basically, Utah passed a law or is working on a law where they want any pornographic site to have a very in-depth age identification, not just the I'm over 18, click yes thing. They need you to verify it somehow significantly more in depth than that. And Pornhub pulled access to anybody with a Utah IP address, I believe. So that is my Utah news for the day. Poorly explained.
Utah news. You heard it here first.
Go.
That's interesting. There's there's services that do that kind of. I mean, I don't think that would be a hard thing for anyone to implement technically. We can get into the technical specifics of that. Do we want to?
No, in Canada, you can't go to a beer website without putting in your date of birth. But I think Utah's government is trying to make it harder than that.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing in the U.S. All alcohol websites and whatnot. There's a banner and you say, "Yeah, I'm 21. Yeah. I can visit the site." It's
yeah.
But if you purchase the services are used a lot for buying vapes online and stuff. So there's a long lengthy thing where you have to take a picture of your ID and stuff like that. So services exist out there. Wouldn't be hard, but it probably would cost them money, and businesses don't like to do that.
I mean, it probably is hard. They're going to that website.
Yeah. Yes. That good pun.
Yeah.
Good pun, Keith. We'll let that one.
Thank you.
Keep that one around.
All right. just go ahead and crop out all the other ones.
So strength sport of choice for you two. Joey, I know you're a big sandbag guy at one point in your life. We're gonna stick with powerlifting, or we're gonna change it up?
I currently enjoy powerlifting because that's what I have. I do expect that there's going to be some strongman in my future, except I'm like 5'5" and like 170 pounds. So I'm not going to win any strongman, but I do enjoy the sandbags because I have filled them up to be as round as possible. I've got some Denny Stone replicas. I think Big Steve is working on, or I am working on getting a Viking press. So I do expect that there's going to be some strongman in my future. I just don't know if it's going to be something I compete in. But I do love picking up rocks. And I was actually thinking today as I'm driving, one of the things I do is randomly yell rocks whenever I see big enough rocks on the side of the road that I think I could pick up. So I think that there's some strongman coming, but powerlifting right now with the deadlifts and stuff is where I am.
And if you want to hear what happens to Big Joey and his strongman journey, tune in to the Unpaid and Underrated podcast to find out what happens.
I'm curious of your potential Viking press. Would that be something that would be in the outside gym? Because you don't have enough ceiling height for that in your basement, do you?
No, I don't. I do have some clearance enough that I can overhead press the barbell. But I would have to see if the Viking press goes higher than that. Gotcha. I did get some crash pads, so there's going to be some outside work happening where probably just for circus dumbbells and some other stuff where maybe we're just throwing some weights around. So that was a good call on that one, but that might be why it goes in Steve's house.
There you go. It's good to have other friends with home gyms,
yes.
Especially if they're close by. That's very clutch.
Yeah. And Keith?
I'm a power lifter by trade. Basically, like I put powerlifting above my day job most of the times. Like but it's kind of funny. Like I'm at work and I'm just constantly thinking about either my home gym or powerlifting or something Massonomics related. So I think I did my first meet in 2017, maybe 2018. No, it was 2017, and I think I'm up to like 12, 13, 14 meets, something like that, and definitely doing the July meet in Aberdeen. And I will, I'm gonna power. I always used to say like, well, as long as I can still total 1,000 pounds, because even if I'm like 60, I should still be able to total 1,000. But like, I honestly think as long as I can get out there and do something with a bar, like I want to fucking do a meet once a year for the rest of my life until I'm fucking dead and in a jar buried in ashes, that is cremated. Like I want to power lift the rest of my life because it's brought so many people into my life. It's not just the going out there and competing. It's like I've got 30, 40 people in my phone book or on my Instagram that I wouldn't know, that I consider personal good friends now, that I wouldn't know without powerlifting. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't change that for the world.
That's dope. Cool. Great answers on the lifting hard section. I got some living easy.
Wait. What about we didn't flip that one back on you?
Yeah. Nah, I don't need to answer that.
I mean,
I don't even lift.
You're a jacked man. What is
I appreciate that. So
you got that nice garage gym going.
I have a gym that is in a garage. Oh yeah, I guess I didn't talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm a garage gym guy by trade. I've
Tanner's been to your garage gym, I believe. He hand delivered a hat, I think, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, yes.
One of the hosts.
Yes, one of the hosts.
Yeah. I butchered that one twice today. Sorry. Correct.
Yeah, they definitely have been there in person for sure.
Big Eddie. There's another thing you and I got. Big Eddie's been at both of our home gyms.
Big Eddie's been to mine a couple times.
Nice.
But yeah, I bought a house with my wife and family. I forget what year. I can't keep track of any of that stuff. And it had a detached like 2-car garage. And we bought it. I was like, that'd be really cool to put a garage gym in there. Like when we were looking at it. And then we moved in, and like within a week I had found some stuff on Facebook Marketplace and put a garage gym in there. Because I was like, I'm tired of going to the daggum YMCA. I'm getting a garage gym and getting out of that place. And it was worth every penny. And it's just been a downward spiral ever since then.
Was that YMCA always out of toilet paper? Like a lot of them I've heard about?
Dude, there was always toilet paper, because I would walk into that place and like get 5 minutes into my workout and it'd be go time. I would lose so much time in the gym just because I'm a morning workout person just by necessity. So it's just like, if I didn't get everything cleared out yet, like it had to come sometime. And buddy, sometimes it would be like just speeding to the YMCA to make sure I could take care of business. This is pretty dangerous.
Worst is having to do that. Like it almost inevitably happens. As soon as I put my knee sleeves on, I put my squat shoes on, that's when I got to go upstairs and sit down. And
Yeah.
it's like, damn it, like this is so uncomfortable.
Well, at least you're not like a multiply lifter, and then you'd really
that'd be horrible.
You'd probably just poop your pants.
It would be easier to shit your pants than to try to get that off and go to the bathroom.
I think that's the way that goes.
We'll have to ask Big Matt Cessny when we see him in July if that's what he does, because he's going to multiply this meet.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't
Fellow
realize
crew member.
that.
Yeah.
Are there any other multiply guys competing?
Not that I know of, but I mean, we all pretty much follow at least like 3/4 of the guys competing. So at least out of our crew, I don't think. But I know there's probably at least, I think Tanner said it was basically like 40 some crew and then like 20-ish like local people and his gym members.
Cool. Living easy. Since this is our first podcast episode, I'm going to play a little game called Have You Seen It? And we're going to go through some movies. So the first movie, Have You Seen It? Captain America, the First Avenger.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure that's one that came out in the last like 10 years. Yeah, I think I've seen every Captain America, even the one that came out in like 1992 that was probably direct to TV.
Released 2011, so yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
All right, next movie on the Have You Seen It list, First Man.
No.
That sounds so familiar.
What is that?
I have no idea. I just have a list of movies with the name First Man.
I got
a look at the life of the astronaut Neil Armstrong and the legendary space mission that led him to be the first man to walk the moon on July 20th, 1969, released 2018. I remember this movie.
The Ryan Gosling movie. Yeah, I've seen
that. That's fiction for sure.
Fiction, yes. That's classified as a fiction movie. Yes.
That's why I love IMDb. Similar to spreadsheets, I track everything on there. So I gave it a 6 out of 10 at some point in the last few years.
Perfect. All right, let's I got one more. Let's do Rambo First Blood Part 2.
Absolutely.
First Blood Part 2. First of all, one of the dumbest names in Rambo history. First Blood Part 2. But yeah, I have seen it. Didn't love it.
I think to that. So like the original movie wasn't called Rambo. It was just First Blood. There wasn't Rambo First Blood. And then the sequel that's when they incorporated Rambo First Blood Part 2. Or it might not even. Is it? I know the first movie is called First Blood, not Rambo, and I think the second one's just Rambo 2.
I want to say it's called
First
Rambo
Blood Part 2.
I want to say it's Rambo First Blood.
So,
okay.
And then
I'm looking at it
is
now.
It really?
I'm looking at it now on IMDb. We've got First Blood and then Rambo : First Blood Part 2.
So no, you're right. Okay. It's just called First Blood. That movie.
The original's legit.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And I was telling somebody today just how good Sylvester Stallone is when he's allowed to do what he wants to do. Right. How good Rocky was, how good that Rambo movie was. Whenever he is allowed to create and build a character, he makes fantastic characters.
All right. I got to slip one more movie in here. Because I just got to know The Human Centipede (first sequence). Have you seen it?
Yeah.
I have not. Is that up
Keith,
there?
That seems like the perfect movie for you.
Yeah,
I had to.
I know of it, but no, I didn't Google that one.
I'm a horror movie guy. Like horror movies are my thing. I have once a week where I go watch horror movies, where I put my headphones in, and my wife doesn't have to watch them. And I did sit through that. I sat through that movie. Yeah. And enough that I did not watch any of the sequels. Because there was no way that stupid premise could go any further.
Yeah, I don't think it did. Crazy they made more of them.
Yeah.
All right. Last living easy question. If you were a flower, what would you be and why?
Jesus.
So this is my question, I think, that I put in there. I'd love to hear Keith's answer and Nate's answer.
Oh man, I don't
I've been thinking about this all day. I know
this
my
is horrible.
answer.
I didn't. I wish I had saw that one. I would have put some thought into it preemptively. I let Nate go. I gotta think.
I'm not answering this question. I'm the
yeah, that's true. Damn it. So Joey just said his question, so he's flipping it on you. Oh man,
Keith's like, I just know so many flowers that I just can't pick one.
I'll go.
I resent flowers.
I'll give it
with a passion.
I just want to hate flowers.
So growing up, my parents were obsessed with their flower beds and their flower gardens. So I spent days of my childhood spreading mulch, planting this, moving that, trimming that. I just don't. I have an appreciation
You
for
created life.
landscaping and
You
flower beds.
created life and
And then
biodiversity.
and also in my defense, the last 10 years we've had a cat who just recently passed, but we couldn't have
Mhm.
like pretty much every flower that you would put in a house is deadly to a cat. So just in the last 3 months, we've actually been getting I think my wife likes daisies or lilies. I don't know. I buy them every couple of weeks. Whatever she likes. That's my answer. Whatever my I'll ask my wife and I'll answer next week. Whatever she likes. But and it's bad too because my mom worked at a florist for like 10 years and I was in high school when I was a kid. So I don't know. I just anything that you're forced to do as a kid, I've resented against and rebelled against. And flowers and landscaping and like decorative stuff like that. I went the other way.
I love how triggering this innocent question was for you.
Oh,
I'm so happy I put that in there.
Oh, dude,
you're just unpacking childhood trauma in here.
Considering we're gonna,
anyway, we have this game we like to play.
This podcast has to go at least 7 years and a couple months to beat the other guys. So you're gonna find so many things that trigger me, and that I can talk about and go in rants about. And that's gonna be half the fun. Is It's gonna be therapeutic for me because I'm gonna be able to vent to people that don't really care and want to listen. But I'm gonna take I'm gonna use this platform to vent periodically.
Starting a podcast, cheaper than therapy.
So
absolutely,
my answer is daffodil, because I don't think anybody's ever been mad when they see a daffodil, because that is the happy flower. When you see it, the weather's turning, spring is coming, the pollinators are out. It's going to be a daffodil because they're the happiest flower.
So that is a very positive outlook.
It's a good looking flower.
Are you a very optimistic human, like in general? Would you consider yourself optimistic?
No.
By nature?
No.
Okay.
But I will say that...
well, that's cool that you can find the value and stuff like that, though.
Well, I'm training myself to be. I have always typically been a cynical and negative person, but I'm sick of being a coward. So I want to start taking a more positive approach to things. And I said it in my Instagram stories, and I think some of you watched it, just the idea that being negative and being cynical all the time is easy because it feels good to be validated when something goes wrong. You get to say, I told you so once out of every 10 times. But being the 90% positive person, there's never that validation. It just is the way that it's supposed to go and nobody cares. But to be the positive person that sees that aspect and supports that aspect is the harder take to have. Being able to go, oh, I told you this wasn't going to work. Shut up, asshole. Like that, you're not helping, but you feel good about yourself. I don't want to do that anymore. So I would say that no, I am not a positive person, but I am training my brain to become one.
That's admirable. I can respect that. I think we honestly, we could, anyone on this podcast or listening to this podcast could probably, see some value in that and take a little piece of that and kind of implement it in their daily life. I know I could. I'm 100% a pessimist, and I'm very much of it's going to rain every day and you're fucking stupid for thinking that the sun's going to come out kind of thing. And I need to work on that. I need to be better about that. It's just, I'm that's one thing I just having this weekly podcast and being able to shoot the shit with our buddies. I think that's going to I don't get a whole lot of interaction like this, like being able to talk to 2 or 3 guys for, an hour or so a week. Like I don't get that where people actually kind of get where I'm coming from, or we're at least we're a community. We're part of the same thing. Mm-hmm. So just being able to have this little like powwow once a week, I'm extremely looking forward to this, for any episode I'm on.
Daffodils.
Yes, daffodils. I had to Google daffodils. Very pretty. It made me smile.
Oh, yeah.
My wife is also a florist like your mom was, and nice. I feel like I should be able to answer this question more accurately.
Yes, you should. You better. Like
I got nothing. I like tulips. Shout out my Calvinist homies. I don't know. Tulips are cool.
What's your wife's favorite flower?
At one point, it was a David. I think they were not David Austin. They were like David something roses.
Dave and Buster's.
Yes, Dave and Buster roses.
Brought to you by Dave and Buster's.
And when we got engaged, I tried to like find these roses to like use when I was proposing. And I went to the florist she was working at, like the owner, and I was like, hey, I'm trying to find these. Like, don't tell Kayleen. But I'm like trying to find these. Can you help me? And she's like, those are so much more expensive than you want to spend. Here's like the cheap knockoff version. Get these instead. And I was like, thank you so much.
That's awesome.
But yeah. I don't
That does
know.
make sense. That tracks. I think everyone's wife's favorite anything is the most expensive,
Yes.
obscure, hard to find, most valuable thing that is only 0.5% better than the thing that costs 1/100th of that.
And will die
At least to
faster.
someone who's been married for 15 years, like that's how my life is.
And it will die faster.
Yes.
They just won't take care of it. I don't know. My wife's been getting into like
Wife.
plants that don't need as much maintenance, which has been pretty cool. I might
I like
put
that.
her onto the Aberdeen Growers Club or whatever it's called. See if she can get any info over
Oh, she
there.
got to get a hold. She's gonna get. Never mind. You know what? It's all just harkens back to that big dick cactus sitting in my living room right now. Every time I sit next to it and my wife tries to talk to me, I'm like, how do you expect me to listen to you with this giant 9-foot penis shaped cactus beside me? It's things like not 9 feet. It's like 12, 13 inches long. Looks just like a big giant dick.
Now with like a cactus, like those kind of like go towards the sun a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Like with the day, sort of. So do you ever like just sit in the sun so it kind of just like points at you and you kind of feel good about yourself? Because it squatted that morning and it's horny.
Yes. Call back.
I love it. Callbacks are the epitome of funny. Like I
Yeah.
will, that's me in a nutshell.
That's what made
How
Community
did I
so
get in this
good.
nutshell?
Cool. Well, hey, I've got some real-time follow-up for us.
Cool.
Real-time follow-up about the Terminator movies. Shout out to Scance in the Discord live chat. He says that Tommy has for sure seen Terminator 2, but only alluded to seeing T1 on the Chad Wesley Smith episode, which is episode 342. So it's unconfirmed
Yes.
if he's seen the first Terminator movie, but one would assume if he's seen the second one, he's probably seen the first.
I don't know though. Yeah, I think
I saw the second one before I saw the first one, for sure.
yeah, the second one came out in like 95. The first one came out in like 84 or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe the second one was whatever. There was like a 10-year gap. And Tommy's probably younger than me, so he would have had to like rent it at a video store, and it would have been like a 15-year-old movie for him to have seen it probably. Like as a kid, like before seeing the sequel. Speaking of Chad Wesley Smith though, did I miss like any content? Because like they said that they were gonna like film content while they were out there. Did Chad put something out? I didn't never see it because I don't think like that was pre them doing it was pre the host of the other podcast actually putting out any YouTube content regularly. But I remember seeing in the Discord that like Chad came out with like a camera guy and they were supposed to record stuff. Did that not happen, or did I misremember that?
I think Chad did some vlog stuff
Okay,
on his
maybe I'll have
like
to go find
channel
that.
or maybe on Juggernaut something or another.
Gotcha. I just don't remember seeing that. Maybe Big Tanner will send us a link.
Yeah.
I keep dropping the names.
I don't know who this Tanner
Ruining-
guy
Yeah,
is.
I'm ruining the damn joke.
Someone from the podcast, one of the hosts.
One of the hosts.
We were supposed to have a fourth guest on this week, but he just didn't answer his phone. So tune in next week. Maybe we'll be able to get Big Matt on here. I don't know. We'll try our best.
I tried to call him before we started, and I just got voicemail. We'll give him a call on the recording next time to see if we can get him on.
Yeah, he's in.
Hopefully he gets out of that shed and gets ready to answer some questions for us.
Yeah, maybe it's like one of those sheds with the tin roofs. There's probably not like a good cell reception or whatever. That must be the issue.
And I do agree with Scance on that.
What would you agree with him with?
Why would you'll have
Keith's
to be
afraid to put it into the world, afraid to say it out loud.
Scance said it, so I'll just read. So Scance read hashtag fuck Matt on our private Discord that I don't know if Matt's in because he's not,
Matt's in here. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. That's how we try to get him onto the podcast.
Oh yeah,
we always
yeah,
message him on there.
I think he just blocks us, but
Scance
has hashtag fuck Matt. So I don't know if that if it's going back to the picture that I posted earlier, which it kind of looked like there was some stuff going on or what. I'm not sure where the fuck Matt came from. That's very I mean, it is Scance. He is he's 74 now, so I mean, he is in the home. I'm not sure how he even is reading this right now because he still have his BlackBerry from the 90s. Like,
yes.
I'm not sure how he's even seeing this, but I guess we'll let it go this time, Scance.
One thing I got to point out, we were talking about being a little more positive, and I do love a good ribbing. But here's the thing, and I'm going to come to Scance's defense because he's a fellow Canadian. I learned this in wrestling. Chris Jericho taught you this message, or taught you this lesson. He said, never ever talk about your opponent being old, because there's only two outcomes that come. You either beat an old guy or get beat by an old guy. You don't look good in either of those.
It's true. And I would never beat an old guy if his name was Scance. I'd for sure get beat by that guy.
That was a good Chris Jericho lesson.
I'd much rather take advice from Chris Jericho than Chris Benoit. So that is very valuable information.
Oof.
That was maybe a little too harsh.
Oof.
Yeah, that one just fell on dead air. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna give out their Instagram handles and all that jazz where you want to find us. So again, this is Big Keith. You can follow me at Keith Honeycutt 73 on Instagram, but more importantly, follow me on my gym page at the No Wine Cellar.
And I'm at Joey_MLECZKO. In English, you'd say Malesko. In Polish, you'd say Mieczko. But I don't have a follow-up. Who cares about that? Follow us at Unpaid Intern Podcast.